minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Dobry wieczór, kłaniam się, Dariusz Siemielek z tej strony, bardzo miło mi Państwa powitać i cieszę się, że już tyle osób do nas dołącza. No i fajnie, że mamy kolejne webinarium. Zdradzę Wam rąbkę tajemnicy, że Instalink i English Teaching już planują także kolejne, bo wiadomo, że w tej chwili to, co się dzieje w szkołach, prawdopodobnie zapowiada się na to, że nam się troszkę przedłuży sytuacja nauki zdalnej. No ale żeby osoby, które dołączają do nas po raz pierwszy, wiedziały, o co w ogóle chodzi, to powiem króciutko. Mamy serię webinariów. Webinarie organizuje darmowa platforma dla nauczycieli Instalink. Serdecznie zachęcam do tego, żeby Państwo Instalinga obadali. Cały czas się można zarejestrować. Ruszamy właśnie z nowym semestrem. To jest darmowy system wspomagania pracy nauczycieli, bardzo wspomagający także pracę uczniów, używający tak zwanego spaced repetition, czyli przypominania w idealnym momencie, kiedy dane słówko, dane ćwiczenie ma być przypomniane. System opiera się także na różnego rodzaju ćwiczeniach, testach, zwłaszcza w nauce zdalnej to się bardzo przydaje, aczkolwiek przydaje się także świetnie w nauce tradycyjnej, szkolnej, także zachęcam do wypróbowania. Ale myślę, że tutaj akurat naszym stałym bywalczyniom, stałym bywalcom programu nie muszę tego mówić. Drugim gospodarzem programu, czy gospodynią, trudno jest mi powiedzieć, jak właściwie należałoby to określić, jest program English Teaching. To jest też świetna sprawa, bardzo serdecznie polecam. Trwają warsztaty English Teaching. Na englishteaching.org.pl można sobie zobaczyć, co aktualnie się dzieje. Fenomenalny program, Fundacja NIDA już od paru 10 lat organizuje. Sam jestem z tym programem związany prawie że od początku i bardzo polecam wspomaganie pracy nauczycieli anglistów i anglistek z małych miejscowości w szczególności, ale nie tylko. Zdecydowanie warto się zainteresować. No i cóż, bez dalszego zwlekania myślę, że mogę zapowiedzieć naszą dzisiejszą gościnę, Marta Bujakowska, która była już z Wami no nie raz, to już jest drugi występ w naszym cyklu w tym semestrze i występ bardzo ciekawy, bo jakby sam jestem naprawdę zainteresowany tym, co będziemy mieli na tapecie, bo mówimy o pamięci. How to train your brain to remember better. Super fajny tytuł, no i kurczę, jako twórca Instalingu nie mogę powiedzieć, no jakby strzał w dziesiątkę. Cała nauka, cała edukacja to jest motywacja plus inteligentny, mądry system zapamiętywania, a wyćwiczenie swojego mózgu, żeby pamiętać lepiej, to jest podstawa. W połączeniu z motywacją pozamiatane. To już mamy naukę języków w jednej kieszeni i załatwioną, a co do tej motywacji, to będziemy oczywiście mieli też inne webinaria, w związku z czym without further ado, the one and only Marta Bujakowska, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. The problem is I don't see myself, and I wanted to show you some things, but you will have the screen, or, well, I may still show it, but I can't control myself in a way. Yeah, the title is How to Train Your Brain to Remember Better, but it's a part of the bigger project I'm working with, which is teachers' well-being. And our well-being is within, so it starts from the brain. But of course, we can do much more for us. But today we are concentrating on our brain, how to make it work better, how to make work easier for it, how to remember better. And we can compare it to Instalink, what Instalink offers, and what ideas, what memorizing techniques we can combine, right, with the Instalink. Okay, so first thing is my very favorite super brain yoga, which is an amazing brain exercise that helps improve the brain and activates the left and right side of our brain. And it's not an exaggeration or a senseless talk, like some people say, as I have been practicing it, especially before some challenging work, or in the morning when I have some work to do where my brain is very much involved. And it is good for adults and kids. It has started as a part of an experiment with children in autism spectrum, and it proved that they work much better after doing this simple exercise. So let's do it. I can't do it because I'm sitting on the sofa and I don't have the right equipment, but I wish I could do it with you. So we need to stand up and hold our earlobe. So let's say that we hold our left earlobe with our right thumb, and then we cross the arm and do the same with our left ear. So you hold your right with your left thumb and your left earlobe with your right arm, and you press quite. You should not cause yourself pain, but you should really press on your earlobe. And then we squat. When you squat, you inhale, and standing up, you exhale. So I'm going to pretend I'm doing it, but I would like you to do it 10 times, okay? So inhale. And of course, for the balance, we should cross our arms in the opposite way and do it 10 times again. So this time I'm going to count for you. Inhale, squatting, exhale, standing up. So we squatting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you can sit comfortably and we'll see what we do next. Let's talk about memory. What are the kinds of memory? Briefly, we can talk about. So we're going to talk about sensory, very, very short, brief memory. We're going to talk about short-term, working memory, and long-term memory. It's going to be really brief because I want to do it really practical. So this is our skull, our brain, and we have these 3 stages of memory pictured here, like sensory memory, which works as a protective shield from all the information we don't really want. And also it's so short that it's like seconds and you forget. Somebody tells you something and you don't remember. This is what happened in the sensory memory, because the shield didn't allow to get in. If you want to remember, we will talk about it, what to do if we want to store it in short-term memory or long-term memory. So what happens in the short-term memory? All the processes and coding of information happens here. So this memory chooses between whether we should store it or we should let it go. So long-term memory records all of the meaningful information and experiences in our life, but of course we need to help it because it can hold the information indefinitely. But of course there is a necessity to revise and repeat information. And here comes installing again, where you repeat things really frequently. Okay, what are we scared of? What scares us most when we talk about memory? Forgetting, of course. We always complain, right? Oh, I forget very easily. Of course I do too. But there are some ways we can help ourselves. But it's the meaningful, there is a meaning in forgetting, right? What for is this process? Forgetting process. It segregates, like we segregate our litter. It segregates the information that enters our brain, and it happens at every stage of our memory, sensory, short-term and long-term memory. So there are different types of forgetting as well. There are two, required and unrequired forgetting. So required forgetting would be reaction to information overload. And forgetting help our brain to take information in smaller chunks or doses, while unrequired forgetting is forgetting information stored in long-term memory, so we don't want it. We want to keep it, right? That's why it's unrequired. There is one rule, though, which we are going to repeat today many times. We started in the introduction. And the rule, number one, is the more often the better. So whatever you want to remember, you want to retain in your memory, you should try to repeat in many ways. Okay, so we can say we are warmed up with my brain yoga, sorry. But we need to do some warm-up exercises for our brain. But there would be, surprise, surprise, finger exercises. Our brain, as we probably know, is closely connected with our limbs, especially with our hands and fingers and fingertips. I don't know, and I'm not going to quote here, how many transmitters we have between our brain and fingertips, but there are really many. So let's think of what we can do for our brain using our fingers. And not only that, but it can also help us with agility of our fingers, especially nowadays when we use our fingers mainly for pressing the keys on the keyboard, and it's very repetitive. I think our fingers will benefit from some exercise, and also for people who belong to older generation and have different problems with rheumatism or arthritis, or they had some aches and pains, they can really benefit from these simple exercises. So let's do number one. And again, I wanted to present it. I'll try, but I don't know how you see me, so it might be a bit of a problem, but never mind. First, okay, you have pictures as well. So we hold our hands like the lady in the screen, like we hold them in front of our nose, right? And your fingers, your thumbs should be at the level of your eyes, okay? And then what we do, we move one hand up and surround our fingers around the other palm, or around the other fingers, and then we do the same thing the opposite way, and we have to breathe. Okay, so we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And we do it 10 times. Don't forget to breathe. Try to coordinate your breathing with your movement, with the movement of your palms. And try to breathe a little bit faster now, and faster than you normally breathe. Okay, I think you're done. If not, you can still do the exercises after the session. And now we're going into exercise number 2, where you hold your hands similarly, also at the level of your eyes, but then you put your palms forward, so your elbow will reach about 90 degrees, your elbows, right? And then you spread your fingertips and press against each other. And then again, you breathe in and let go out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. In and out. And press quite strongly. Breathe in and out. After all, it's an exercise. Breathe in and out. And 10 times again. Now we're going into exercise 3. They can be different for different people. Some are more challenging, some are less challenging, some are not challenging at all. So we hold our hands in front of our face, like the lady in the picture. And it's important that our pinkies touch together quite closely. You should press on them and hold your palms straight up. And then we start folding our fist, like the lady started from the left. So, okay, let's do it from the left. First with your thumb, but you fold your fingers one by one, slowly. You can also coordinate it with your breathing, and then you unfold them the same way. The problem usually is a ring finger, because it doesn't want to stick out on its own, but try to do your best. Okay. And again, you do it 10 times, breathing in and out regularly. Here, the coordination of breathing is a little bit more difficult, but just breathe naturally. So I'm doing it the 4th time. I hope you're doing it the same. You can do it faster once you get the grasp of it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now we go on to exercise number 4, which is usually easy, but we don't know. Okay, so we hold on your finger and your thumb, and then you change, you skip, right? You skip first with one hand, and then with the other hand. And again, you can do it together, one way and the other. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can start with your left hand, forefinger and thumb, and with your right, pinky, little finger and thumb, and go opposite directions. Okay, and see that this is more difficult. And all the tricks, we will talk more about it, that we do to our brain work for its benefit. Exercise 5 Okay, here you hold your hand upwards, and with the use of your thumb, you bend your fingers one by one, but they have to be straight. And you push quite hard. You push them down quite hard and go back. And the same thing, you can do it first with your predominant hand, because this would be easier. And then you can do it with the other hand. Then you can do it simultaneously. And then you can do it the opposite directions. Okay. And again, you should repeat it 10 times. Of course, there are exercises you can do anywhere, wherever you go, when you wait somewhere, or when you are in some informal gathering, or just at your desk when you have a break in your teaching. So here is the exercise number 6. It's last but not least. And okay, so here we need both hands, and you hold them. One is upward, the other is bent towards your face. Okay, and then we do the swap. Okay, and try to do it faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. 10 times. Okay, thank you very much. As I said, they're just models, and you will have time maybe to do them later on. In the same group of exercises, there are 2 so-called nut or nutty exercises. For this, I didn't have the opportunity to send this information on to you. You need 4 walnuts. For the first one, you need just 1. And here is the description, and maybe I will demonstrate it, but I don't know if you really see it. So you take a walnut into your left palm, cover it with your right palm, and turn clockwise 10 times, okay? Of course, don't forget to breathe whenever you do any exercises. And then the opposite, and then you can do it counterclockwise 10 times. Okay, and the next one, you need 4 walnuts, 2 walnuts into each palm, and turn them clockwise with your right palm and counterclockwise with your left palm, with the help of your fingers and thumb. Your thumb is very important here. Okay, sometimes you drop one like I did now, but then you pick it up and start all over again. And again, 10 times each way. I hope you liked my exercises, and I hope you will try to do them. Okay, how do we retain information in our working memory? What to do? We repeat immediately after obtaining. So if someone gives us their telephone number or their name, and you repeat it to yourself, you give your brain a chance to store it in your short-term memory. And then you repeat the second time after 5 to 20 minutes, and then after 6 to 8 hours, and after 24 hours. Of course, it's like a prescription. We can do it in our own time, but the repetition should be done, right? And it should be done in certain periods of time. Then, how do we retain it in long-time memory? Look what changed in the pictures. In the first one, you had a clock, and in the second, you have a calendar. So what do? We repeat the piece of information immediately after obtaining, the same thing. Then after 20 to 30 minutes, then after 1 day, then after 2 to 3 weeks, and after 2 to 3 months. And that's it, right? Of course, we can repeat the information more times, and we know very well when you think about things you really remember well, like you know, your children's names or dates of birth or whatever. And if you counted how many times you repeated them, they would be endless. That's why you remember them so well. Okay, we're going to talk today in our exercises, because there would be more. We're going to talk about brain functions. And I chose 5. There are many more, of course. But today we're going to focus on these 5 brain functions. Perceptiveness, how we perceive words, how we are, whether we are observant or not. Concentration, focus. Vocabulary we use, expressing ourselves. And communication. And of course, they're not the same. They look the same. I mean, vocabulary, expressing oneself, and communication, you may think they are the same, but they're not. Somebody may have quite rich vocabulary, but can't express themselves well, like some lecturers, for example. Their expression is not up to their knowledge, right, so to speak. So, and also communication is something else. Also, I'm going to talk about some guidelines how to help yourself remember. So, there would be 10 guidelines, which we would recap at the end. So, number 1, try to understand what you have to remember and find associations. Some people say that you can use ready-made associations, but I think it's better if you make your own associations. And associations should be or could be like bright, vibrant, dynamic, big, colorful, crazy, strange, emotional, physical, animated, forceful, loud, rhyming, or punning, or whatever else, hilarious. They can be completely nonsense for others, but they would be good for you. And number 2, remember only important information. It's tricky because teachers sometimes we want our students to remember some things, but they would tell us then, hey, it's not important for me, right? I don't need it. It's not what I need. It's not what it is for me. We should try to remember only the information that is for you, especially nowadays when we're flooded with all sorts of information we don't want to remember. And key information is placed in the beginning and at the end, usually. And it is to be remembered because it helps us, especially when we talk about a lecture or a story. When we remember the beginning at the end, we help our brain to remember the body of it. Okay, number 4, trick your brain, and we're going to do it in a minute. So, how can we trick our brain? We can use our non-dominant hand for everyday activities. For example, brushing your teeth or unlocking the door, or I don't know what else, writing notes, drawing, etc., etc. We can try to eat with our eyes shut. I really, really recommend it. It's a very good sensation. And your brain has to use different senses. And write by hand, not necessarily the other, that your dominant one, but write by hand more. Keep a diary or other notes. Nowadays, psychologists say, or neuropsychologists, neurolinguists, that we should use handwriting more because it helps our memory. And change some things around the house, like something bigger. If you have like allocated seats at your house, you may try to change them. For example, right? They're just examples. There are many more. As I told you, I started working on it. I started being interested in the memory and in a very practical way. So there are many, many more ways. Now, trick your brain with illusions, for example. The internet is full of them. There's some that you probably know. So there's some hints here, right? An old woman or a young girl. And you see the hint here, so you can see for yourself. And the middle picture, a woman sitting at the dressing table or a skull. And again, you have the hints here. In the last one, you don't have any hints, but probably you can see the face of a Native American and an Eskimo. And I have one more for you to do yourself, what you can see in the first picture. You can write it in the chat if you want, and I can read it later on. That would be fun if you could. Okay, so there are 3 different pictures. What you see them, number 1, number 2, number 3. You should see 6 different things here. Okay. Of course, everybody needs some time to see those things. But we're going to guideline number 5. When you study, or because you want to learn new information, you should separate it with short breaks every 20-25 minutes. It depends on your nature. People who can sit still for longer time tend to need the breaks less often, but people who fidget, they should take the break more often. What I mean by this is like when you learn a big chunk of information on one given topic, because if you do it, it may distort your remembering because they're too similar, right? The information is too similar, one piece to another, and it interferes with your remembering. So you can take this short break doing something completely different. And this is how I usually work when I have to learn something. And my husband usually told me, yeah, why are you doing this? Why are you doing the washing if you have to prepare something? Some classes or webinars or something or courses. And I didn't know why, but I had to do it. So you can load or unload your washing machine and that's it. And then go back to your studying. Or you can play your favorite instrument, but just one piece, okay? Then you can go into YouTube, but you know, it's tricky as it can last too long. You can load or unload your dishwasher. You can also go into Google videos about something else you're doing, so it takes your mind off your main studying, but again, it's tricky. The best for me also, like if not loading, unloading my washing machine, I would go for exercise, like simple physical exercise of whatever kind, whatever you like best. The good things are what we can see here in this yoga, when you bend over and your heart is below your waistline. So the oxygen goes directly into your brain. Of course, you can go into Instagram as well, but as I told you before, it's very tricky. You may never come back to your studying. Okay, number 6, give your brain exercise. We did some, but we're going to do one more where I would like you to tell me which of brain function we're exercising here, especially. Of course, they mix together. You can't separate them, but mainly, right? Okay, so I will share a photograph with you, and you need a piece of paper and a pen. Not really, not now. No, you don't. You don't really need it. Pardon me. I will share a photograph with you. And please try to remember as many details as you can, but please, please, please do not write anything. Retain it in your memory only. Later on, I will ask you to write something. Okay, and then afterwards, I will ask you some questions. So now you will have 2 minutes, it seems a long time, to look at this photograph and remember as many details as you can without writing anything at all. Ready? Steady, go. 2 minutes. Thirty seconds. Okay, so now you can take your piece of paper and a pen and answer some questions. I think I have 8 questions for you. So number 1, how many people did you see? Number 1, how many people did you see? Number 2, did you see any cars? Number 2, did you see any cars? If yes, you can write the number of cars you saw. Number 3, were there any buildings in the photograph? Were there any buildings in the photograph? Number 4, did you see any trees? Number 4, did you see any trees? Number 5, what color hair did the rickshaw driver have? Number 5, what color hair did the rickshaw driver have? Number 6, how many bananas did you see? Number 6, how many bananas did you see? Number 7, did you see the sky? Number 7, did you see the sky? And the last one, number 8, what color were the traffic light poles? What color were the traffic light poles? Okay, and which of the functions do you think we exercised most? If you thought perceptiveness, you were right. If you thought concentration, also you were right. Okay, so I'm going to go back and show the picture again, and we'll see if you were right. Of course, you may not agree with my answers. Maybe I go back to the blank. We share the answers, or I share the answers with you, and you may agree or disagree. And then we check with the picture. So number 1, how many people did you see? 1 person. Did you see any cars? Yes, there were 5 cars in the photograph. There were some buildings in the photograph. There were some trees, yes. The color, the hair color was fair, blonde, right? How many bananas did you see? 1 banana. Did you see the sky? Yes, we could see the sky. And what colors were the traffic light poles? They were yellow. And now I'm going to go back, right? And I wonder if you agree or if you would debate it or discuss it with me. Okay, this is one of the exercises that are quite challenging when you begin. But then to make it more challenging, you can see the pictures are upside down. But I didn't want to give you any very challenging exercises today, as we are working on it the first time. But it's, for me, just fun. So you can try. You can try to look at a photograph of any kind, like a postcard or some other photographs with many details. Look at them upside down and then try to remember many details. Okay, next one is called hidden words. And you will have 5 minutes, okay, to create words with the letters of this word, which I'm going to show in a minute. But you need to remember that if you have one letter then repeats, you can have these 2 letters in your word. But if there is only one word of the kind in the given word, you can use it only once in your words. All words are allowed, so you can use pronouns and prepositions and conjunctions, and of course alongside with nouns, verbs, adjectives or adverbs. And the word is, you will have 5 minutes, so it seems a long time. We'll see how many words you manage to write, and please write the number in the chat. I would love to know. Ready, steady, go. Okay. You have 30 seconds to finish off. It may be also if you could write the number of words you managed to write in the chat. And what did we practice? What did we do for which function of our brain here? Of course, vocabulary. It goes without saying. Next one is a classic exercise that you probably know. But why not? Why not repeat it? Okay, So we read the color, not the words. So each of you has to do it for yourself. And I'm not going to disturb you, but we read the color, not the word. The internet is full of those things, and you can, the best is when you do it when they move, right? That they change, and they change maybe 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 different in different order, and this would be even better for your brain. And here the function would be not vocabulary but concentration. Yes. Okay. Guideline number 7, invent stories, including objects and places to remember. And of course, this is here, we do it as English teachers, right? We ask our students to invent stories, but it's not the same if you ask yourself to invent a story. We can use the cubes, like story cubes, but not necessarily. I would, if I had the workshop with you, I would ask you to give me the words, right? Some words, and I would brainstorm them and I would put them on the board for you. So here are the words. Okay, let's say that you gave them to me. A bird, loudspeaker, office, fantastic. I'm sorry for the misspelling. Fantastic. I do apologize. Towel, house, sleep, cow, over the moon, and cook. And now you have 5, you will have, let's say, 3 minutes to write a story, to create a story using all the words here, or as many as you can, but you can add maximum of 5 words to this story, including conjunctions. Okay, so 5 words maximum, and you have 10 words to build up, make a story. And okay, ready, steady, go. I hope you're doing okay. how I wish we could share our stories, because I believe they're brilliant. But you can always share them with somebody else, or you can, well, maybe there is a platform in NIDA that we could share these stories. I wonder. But I hope, I do believe, not hope, I do believe that we meet again face to face in some kind of workshop. I'm going to write workshops for NIDA, but it would be a different topic, much more serious maybe, because I wanted here today, I wanted to really care for your well-being, like myself as well, because I think we don't do enough of it nowadays. Okay, I wish I could read your stories. Okay, number 8, guideline number 8. Remember opposites. I think for us, yes, I'm sorry, going back to the stories, which functions of the brain did it exercise? What do you think? What you say? What your answer is? Is your answer expressing oneself? That's correct. Okay. So number 8, opposites. We do it very often. I think when you start teaching very young children, you teach them opposites. We do it with our own children. We tell them that they're big or small or fat or whatever, right? Things, white and black, etc. We have a lot of games where you have opposites. But we should not forget it. We tend to forget little tricks of learning in our adult life. We teach our children, our students, but we forget about our own brains, which need taking care of as well. So I want you to take a second and read Carl Jung, a quotation here. Okay, so here we go. We nourish our brain through opposites. And also visualize your thinking, okay? So number 9 would be visualize or use visuals. Sometimes people say, no, I can't visualize. But you can. If someone tells you a story, can you see it in front of your eyes? Usually we can. Also, when we read books, we see the book, right? We see the plot, we see the action, and sometimes we are disappointed when we go to the cinema and they film the book, and we're disappointed. Sometimes, of course, it's a bad production. But even if it's good, we are often disappointed because we saw it in a different way. Because our visualization of this particular book story was very different. We saw different characters, different people, the places were different, etc. One of the exercises that I didn't really plan today, but I can tell you about it, is when you write different places, let's say places in your house with different things there, like when you say sofa and lemon, okay? So you have to visualize it. You visualize the lemon, what is it doing on the sofa? Then you visualize television and something else, like a tractor, okay? And oh yeah, I saw a tractor on television. And if you give it a sequence, it will really help you remember. So how do we visualize? We use different things like infographics, maps, plans, tables, mind maps, wonderful, or pictures or photographs. Here you even have the moving visual, which helps our memory even better. And number 10, guideline number 10, always use the best sources. This is for studying, right? This is for learning from sources or resources. we love books, right? Usually we do. I don't know. Maybe young generation, maybe they don't. I don't know. I love books. And it's wonderful to study from them as well. But also it's good to check the information, to see the update. And within the internet, we are bombarded with fake information. And I always say we need to take care of our students and teach them how to use the information they find, how to check it, not to learn or not to remember fake things. And it's massive now. But before you use any memorization technique, any of them, always check the information before you try to remember it. And this is very, very important message from me to you today. And let's recap 10 guidelines. So first is try to understand what you have to remember and find associations. Number 2, remember only important information. Number 3, key information is usually placed in the beginning and at the end. And this is to be remembered first because it helps you to fill in the gaps. Trick your brain in many different ways. When you learn new information, separate it with short breaks. Give yourself brain exercise every now and then. Number 7, invent stories including objects and places to remember, like we did. Number 8, remember opposites. It's very helpful. Number 9, visualize or use visuals. And number 10, always use the best resources if you want to remember something. And this is all from me today. Thank you for your attention and the participation. I hope it was very active in my webinar. And there are resources if you want to have a look. And that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful, as usual. It's obviously a very, very important and interesting topic. And I think oftentimes we forget the physicality of our body affects how our mind works. And, you know, this mind and body entanglement is something wonderful. I love it. I think the fact that it affects our learning so much is fascinating. And I think we all, and I think I speak for everybody here, we all benefited a lot from this wonderful presentation. I hope this is not the last time we're seeing each other. And for now, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody in the audience. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to see you in a week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.